Well, good morning. How are you all today? And welcome to Integrative Preparedness. There's a fog coming, and I want to talk about how to prepare for it and how to deal with it. And that fog is in our country, and it's in our politics, and it's in our economics, and it's all those things for which we prepare, right? We went down to Silver Dollar City yesterday, south of Branson, Missouri, or actually west of Branson, Missouri. And on the way back, we hit some fog, and we drove. It usually takes maybe three. It doesn't matter how long. It took us a lot longer last night. We hit the fog coming out of just north of Branson, and drove in that fog all the way home. And it kind of made me think about the situation that we're in now. Now, what do you do when you're driving in fog? Well, you slow down, right? And you hit your low beams. You take a look and you make sure that you are not overdriving your lights. You make sure that you can see what's coming up close, and you slow down so that you have the time to respond if anything pops up out of that fog. We're approaching a time now where um, we're in a fog of information, of misunderstanding, a lot of times, of disinformation, of purposeful indoctrination or attempts to manipulate our feelings and our emotions. And we're coming to a time where it's going to get worse. The fog is going to get more dense. Um, I've been watching, and I've never really done this before, but I've been watching some other channels because I'm adding a new channel for those of you who don't know. Maybe I'll talk about that later. But I've been watching more of other preparedness channels, and I see a large problem. The same problem that I see with a lot of news, and that is they are pumping the negatives. They're pumping the scare stuff. And of course, it's all about money. It's all about clicks uh, and fear sells. Um, but what's coming out is I don't see a lot of advice. What I see is a lot of oh, tearing hair out, and you'd better be ready, and this is that, and no matter what comes down the road. I was watching one the other day that it should have been positive. It should have been all about what positive things are happening. But man, they were able to spin it to make it say, this may look good, but I just don't trust it. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. And when I read the comments on those things, I see so many people, an unbelievable number of people who just love that stuff, just love it, and their comments are as negative as the creator's comments. And I'm not singling out any particular uh, channel. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there because people love to hear about bad stuff, and they would prefer to hear about bad stuff and wring their hands and feel like they've been informed. They'd rather do that than put in the work to get ready. Um, and here, if you're new to us, I talk about what you need to do to prepare for a better future, to improve your life. I don't care if I'm in a fog. I'm just going to slow down and lower my lights and take each step. When you're, I think that the people who like to go after these negative things, and I'm gonna tell you the other edge of that double-edged sword here in a minute. Uh, the people who like to do that, I say that they're splashing on the surface. They're standing in the shallow end, and they're splashing on the surface, making a lot of noise, making a lot of hoopla. It's scary, it's horrible, it's this and this that, and everything's collapsing, and everything's evil, and the world's bad, and you know, yeah. But they don't go to the deep end, and because they don't want to. And get down to solutions and really what is it? How are you going to live your life? See, that's what preparedness is about. It's not about being all scared. It's not about being all upset. It's not about finding the negative, no matter what there is going on. It's not about finding the cloud in every single lining. Okay, it's about preparing to live a good and a better life. Um, when you're going across and here's the main thing that I want to say. Well, I'm going to say something else here after that. But when you're crossing a stream or a small river or whatever like that, and you're able to walk across it on stones. You've been there, right? You come to a big creek, a small river, but it's very shallow. You don't want to walk in the water for whatever reason, and so you're going to walk along the tops of the rocks. Now that can be a little bit dicier. It's safer just to walk through the water, but most people will just walk on the rocks. Uh, what do you do? Well, do you just go back there and run across the rocks as fast as you can? No. You slow down. You make each step purposeful. Each step is measured and perfect and purposeful. You look where your next step is, and you look a couple of steps ahead, right? If you see a rock there that's, well, you can get on that, but there's no step to take after that. Well, you don't go to that rock, right? You look for the step that you can take. That there's another step after that, and another step after that, and another step after that. But you do it slowly. You do it, you know, taking stock of what's coming up, and you plan your route. And it's exactly the same thing with the fog that we are entering into. We are coming into, I believe, a civil war. And the reason for that, now we've been involved, and I've talked about this in the past. The difference between a civil war and a revolution, and most people don't understand that. We've never had a civil war here. You know why I say that? And I'm going to say it without giving the explanation. Those of you who have been with me for a while, and I've written about it in my books. Oh, by the way, I have a major announcement on my 8th book, and I'm going to put it up on as well as the cover design for my 8th book. I'm going to put it up just on the Stonemont level of the Patreon channel on Monday. Okay, so that's I'm very. I think you all will look forward to it. I know a lot of people out there have been asking me about it. Hang on half a second. Somebody's calling me. I'll be right back with you. Okay, so anyway, the difference between, what I was going to say, we've never had a civil war here. Okay, and I'll say that with that explanation because I know it'll get some people saying, yes, we have. I learned it in school. What you learned in school is BS. So much of what, and I just put a great meme on the Patreon channel. If you're not with us on the Patreon channel, you ought to be. Links down below. No, we've never had a civil war here, and that's, do you think you have because you don't know what a civil war is? And I don't mean to offend anybody by saying that. Sometimes I say the truth and I just say it. Sounds brutal. I don't mean it to. But you haven't been taught what a real civil war is. And that's your fault. It's the fault of the teachers. So if you want to learn about it, go back to my old videos. Somewhere in there I talk about it. Read my books, whatever you want to do. But the difference between a civil war and a revolution, now we've been involved in a revolution for a long time. And it started back in the 19 teens when the Communist Party started trying to take over our country. And that it evolved into what's now the Democrat Party. And they have been very successful. And if you want to see how successful they've been, read The Naked Communist. I've read a lot of the stuff out of there on the Patreon channel too, or Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky. They have been very successful. They are so close to turning this country into a total communist country. I mean, the election of Donald Trump was the only thing that stopped it or slowed it down. And now we have hope, but we have never fought back. We, as the other side, as the non-commies, have never fought back. Oh, we've complained, we've groused, we've grumbled, we've done all sorts of things, we've voted, but we have never fought back. And now we are starting to fight back. Why? Why did we not fight back before? Well, some of us did individually, but we never had, a central national leader. We never had enough people ticked off at the same thing at the same time, and we never had a martyr. And those are the three things that I explained in the past are the three things that every great movement, whether revolution, civil war, whatever, needs. Now we have all three of those, okay? And Trump is the national leader, and he's done an amazing job. And there's a lot of naysayers out there that just, well, I don't know, I just don't trust. I just don't know about that, And the question is, oh, so would you rather have Kamala Harris? No, I'm not saying that, but I just don't know about this Trump. These are the people without the moral courage to make a decision or stand on one side or the other. The old mugwump. You remember what a mugwump was? Well, a mug on one side, he's sitting on a fence. And he's got his mug on one side and his wump on the other. He just can't. Well, he's never going to be satisfied, and he's never going to fight for anything. He's just going to sit there and complain. But we now have a pushback, a major pushback from the non-communist side of our country. And as we come up to the election here, the swearing in, that's when it gets serious. The communists are already doing everything they can to compromise, to sabotage everything, wars, economics, everything they can, to make as big a mess as possible for Trump when he comes in. If you think it's over, then you're not. I know you're not that dumb. You're here. You know that they're not going to stop when Trump is sworn in on the 20th, and that's when it really starts. We still have the deep state. And so now we do have, okay, I'm gonna have to explain what makes a civil war here for people. A civil war is when you have two or more groups fighting for the control of the same government. Simple as that. That's not what happened in the 1860s. I don't care what your high school teacher said. So now we do have. Trump is fighting to get this country back headed in the right direction. But I don't like what he did about bumps. Just sit down, man. I mean, grow up, be a grown-up, understand that you're involved in the big world, put on your big boy pants to where you understand that some things are compromised. Some people make mistakes, and some people say things because they don't have the experience to say it, and then they realize and they come back around. Well, I don't trust Tulsi Gabbard. Oh my! Okay, I'm not going to get off on that because that just it astounds me. Okay, press on. So now we're going to have with Trump and everybody else that he's bringing in, going after the deep state, and the deep state who has been involved in the revolution to take over our country forever. We're gonna start going at it. And that is a civil war. Now, what kind of a civil war is it going to be? Well, it's going to be a civil war fought mainly economic. There's going to be some violence. You should prepare yourself for that. But you should prepare yourself economically, financially. Make sure you have all the things. I shouldn't have to say that anymore. I'm surprised. I again, like I said, I just recently started watching other channels again, and I can't believe how often they say, well, you better have water, you better have food, and has anybody not known that for the last 20 years? I don't know how you make a video out of that, but anyway, you need to have all that stuff. You need to do all the things that it takes to make you self-reliant and able to live separate from all of those external interdependent systems over which you have little or no control. Okay, that's all we need to say there. But you need to prepare economically, mean having money, making more money. You need to keep yourself informed. Okay, you need to up your understanding of technology and the use of technology. And you need to, if you are a person who stands for anything, you need to stand up in this war and try to have an effect. I don't mean going out there and taking it to the streets. I don't mean that. What I mean is interacting with the people in your world, your friends and your neighbors, and representing the proper non-communist view, because this is a war that's fought in the minds, the hearts and minds of the people. And you need to take those steps now to understand that this war could affect supply chains. It could affect the financial institutions. There possibly could be, there could be a grid down situations. You should always be prepared. That should be your primary focus, and your primary goal is to be prepared for a total grid down, and you'll be fine. Okay. I'm going to do one maybe in a few minutes after this, because I didn't do one yesterday, so I'm trying to catch up my list on whether farming or ranching is better, and should you move to the Ozarks. There's a couple of questions that I had, so I'll do that right after this. So just be ready. Understand that we are currently in the, and somebody will say, we've been in a civil war for 10 years. It doesn't matter, man. We're in the beginnings of a civil war now. It's going to come, and it's going to come in a fog. So that's what I'm talking about here. You're going to have so much information out there. You're going to have so much conflicting information out there. You're going to have so much information put out by people who don't know what in the heck they're talking about. And that's the truth. Like I said, I've been watching these channels, and it just floors me what these people are saying. They don't have a clue as to what they're talking about. They're trying to latch onto something that is the scary thing of the day, and there's nothing there. There's no solutions there. Well, here's the solutions. Be aware. Know that it's coming. Understand. Keep up to date. Keep aware of developments. Social, governmental, financial developments on your own. And to that end, I don't think I've really announced it here yet. Our new channel that we're putting up is going to start January 1, just in a few days. And it's called DoomTube. You want to know why? Because all those doomer tubers out there that are always trying to shovel the bad news every day, but just trying to get clicks, and don't really know what they're talking about, to be honest. They scroll through the aggregators, and they see this, and they read the headline, and they go, "Oh, I'm going to talk about this," and then they say, "You better," but they don't really know. If you're going to do that, if you're going to concentrate on the bad things, you should have an understanding of the challenges in the world. If you're going to do that, you need to really say how bad it is. And you know what? It's a lot worse than you think. It's a lot worse than you think. If you just get your information from these sources, or the news, doesn't matter. That doesn't even scratch the surface of how bad things really are. So I thought, you know what? If you're going to talk about bad stuff, really talk about how bad the stuff is. It doesn't take away, I'm not changing this channel, because the whole purpose is you should be preparing in a positive way. But really, I've been wondering for years, well, if people really are that worried, if people think that bad things are coming, why don't they prepare better? And how do I know they don't? By people that I run into, by people that I know, by people that I get to talking to, when they find out that I wrote a bunch of books about it, reading comments on other channels, and reading some on here. I read all of them here, but for the most part, most of the people here are pretty up to speed, much more so than other places. So I think that's because the people that are here are serious about it, and they're not just looking for the latest catastrophe cookie. But if you're going to talk about the bad stuff, you got to talk about how bad it really is. And so that's what I'll be doing with our new channel starting January 1. And our tagline there is, no matter how bad you think it is, it's worse. And that's the truth. So if you really understood how bad things are, you'd be preparing a lot harder. But you shouldn't have this doom and gloom attitude. You should just realize, okay, we got problems. What am I going to do about it? Okay, so to whereas I see so many of the other people that it's kind of like they come to you and say, well, that tire could go flat. Okay, all right. Well, I'm just concerned that tire's going to go flat. That looks a little thin there. That's going to go flat, and I'm just we're go. Well, my position is, okay. How about not just complaining that the tire may go flat? How about say, are you prepared? You got a jack, okay? You got a spare tire, and then if it goes flat, are you just going to stand by the side of the road and go, oh, that tire's really flat? Oh, what a horrible thing that tire is flat. And that's pretty much the extent of the advice, and it was not advice of many other places. Oh, that's a flat tire. Well, how about this? How about, hey, let's jack up the car. Let's get our spare. Let's put the spare on and let's get going. See, that's what preparedness is, as opposed to just doom scrolling through people whining and complaining about how bad things are. Things are terrible. They've never been this bad. The world's full of evil, like the world has never been full of evil before. There's no more evil now than ever before. And the people who think it is need to go back and study history. Okay, so anyway, that's it. We're coming into a fog, and it's going to be interesting. But it's the fog as we come out of a revolution and into a civil war, whatever extent that civil war takes. Okay, we will see. So, be prepared. Slow down. We're coming into a fog. Slow down. Pay attention. Know where you're going. Measure your steps on those rocks across the stream, or drive under your headlights so that you don't go, headlong into the water or headlong into the approaching semi-truck, right? Okay. A word to the wise. You all have a good day. We prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Go on over to the Doom Tube. I'm not sure if I put the link down below about that or not. If I didn't, I will. But just go DoomTube and sign up. And you'll be, so that when we put stuff out, you'll know. And if you'd like to come with us on the Patreon channel, you should. That link is down below. If you'd like to buy my books, and you should. Those links are down below. But you all have a good day. Again, prepare well today so you can live well tomorrow. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.